Good morning, everybody. My name is Elena, and I'm really happy to be cooking with you guys on this beautiful Monday morning. The sun is shining here in Chicago. It's a nice change of pace after these last couple days. We are making today a garden veggie cream cheese to enjoy with bagels. That's what we have this morning, some bagels over here. And you could also use it as a sandwich spread. There's lots of options. So the first thing you should do if you have not, first of all, let's do sanitation stuff first, okay? Keep it clean. So go ahead and put your hair up if you have long hair. I actually put my hair in a braid today because my parents did not like the fact that I had a side ponytail hanging around all over the food. So Mom and Dad, this is for you. Also wash your hands, of course, very, very well to the tune of happy birthday if you'd like. Make sure you do it for about 20 seconds or so, and then keep your hands clean while you're cooking. If you get them dirty, you lick them, you touch your shoes or whatever, go ahead and wash your hands again, okay? So the base of our garden veggie cream cheese is cream cheese. So you might have guessed that. If you haven't had your cream cheese out at room temperature to soften, you will probably want to soften it now in the microwave. So I actually did not get my cream cheese out early enough, but went ahead and put it in the microwave for, I did 2 rounds of 1 minute at 20% power. So you don't want to heat it on full blast. You want to heat it on a low power just so you're softening it and not making it really warm. So this is what you want your cream cheese to, you just want to be able to move it around so we can stir our veggies into it, okay? So go ahead and do that if you haven't already. And this is, the recipe calls for 1 cup of cream cheese, which is an 8-ounce packet. Okay, so let's go over the veggies that we're putting in our cream cheese. So we've got, anybody know what this is? We used it on, what day was that? Saturday as well when we made breakfast skillets for any of you that joined us for that. Any guesses as to what this is? Anyone? Look, I have part of it cut on the side. What? Yeah, I didn't get out a second one, so there you go. Okay, I'll tell you. It's a bell pepper, a red bell pepper. And look, it kind of looks like a bell, right? So we've got our red bell pepper, and what I did for that is I went ahead and cut, you know, the part that's missing on the side there, I went ahead and cut it into really thin strips, like that. Because we want to cut it, the recipe says finely chopped, so we want pretty small pieces, like I would say 1/8 of an inch or so, so I cut it into really thin slices to make it easier to chop up. We also have this beautiful vegetable. Anybody want to guess what this guy is? Nobody's guessing today? That's cool. I'll just tell you. I'm happy to, you know, just provide all the answers. I don't mind. This is a carrot. It's a very long, skinny carrot. So you can peel the carrot if you'd like. I didn't. Because I, you know, like we talked about with the breakfast skillets, with the potatoes, we try not to peel our veggies if we can avoid it because the skin has a lot of nutrients in it, and it's also less wasteful because you're eating, you know, more of the vegetable. But what you can do if you don't peel it is use something like a scrubby brush like this and just run it under water and scrub it well to get, you know, any of the caked on dirt or whatever off of there. So I already did that with a different carrot, and I cut it into 3 pieces because we're going to grate the carrot. You can finely chop it if you want, but we're going to go ahead and grate it. So I have these kind of bigger chunks instead of slices. If you want to finely chop the carrot, you can just cut the carrot into slices and use the chopper. Okay, and then the next ingredient on our list here is green onion, and it calls for 1 green onion. This is one of the largest green onions I've seen. So I did not use a whole one. I used a half a green onion. And I just cut it because we're going to use scissors to snip it. You can just finely chop it with a chef knife, But for the kids to do it, it's easiest to use scissors. So I went ahead and cut the greens in half lengthwise and the white and the light green part actually into quarters. And so this is what it looks like, prepped to use to snip with scissors. All right. And then last but definitely not least is, I won't have you guess, guys, I'll just tell you, it's garlic. So we took one clove off of here, I peeled the skin off already, and I cut it into slices because we're gonna mince it. Okay? So we have all of our veggies here. By the way, as far as how much pepper and carrot you need, the recipe calls for 1/4 cup finely chopped of each. So I have prepped what I think is gonna be plenty for that, and then I have a 1/4 cup measure so that I can just measure as I go and make sure to put the right amount in our mixture. Okay, of course we also have salt and pepper to season our cream cheese, and we have our bagels. You can go ahead, if you would like, you can preheat. If you're gonna heat up your bagel in the oven, you can preheat your oven. If you have a toaster oven, that's even better because you probably don't need a whole oven to toast or heat up a few bagels. So you can also use a toaster if you want to toast your bagels, but we've got our oven preheating to 350 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead. You're also going to need equipment-wise. We've got a cutting board. We're going to be using a chopper to cut up our peppers and to mince our garlic. We're going to be using a grater to grate the carrot and scissors to snip the scallions. And then for stirring everything into the cream cheese, I just have a wooden spoon here. Perfect, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and start by chopping our pepper. So the chopper, if you're using that, you're gonna wanna hold on to the plastic handle here and grip it really well. Have the longer end of the chopper facing away from you, much easier. And then with these thin slices of pepper, just lay them on their side so the skin is on the side. It makes it much easier to cut through. And make a little bear claw with your other hand, hold the pepper with your fingers tucked in like that, and then you can just cut it into really tiny pieces. Pepper is pretty easy to cut through as long as it's sitting on its side like this. So I almost got I bought this pepper this morning, and the yellow and the orange peppers were actually cheaper than the red peppers, but I decided for color purposes that I wanted red. But you can absolutely use other colored peppers if you'd like. Wouldn't necessarily recommend green pepper just because they don't tend to be as sweet as the red, yellow, or orange peppers. All right. So we've got our first little, ooh, that's the sound of our preheated oven. I don't know if you heard that beep. So we've got our first little pile of pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and start filling our 1/4 measuring cup because we need a 1/4 cup of finely chopped pepper. So I don't think we're gonna need, I have a lot of extra pepper. I don't think I'm gonna need all that, but that's okay because we can just snack on it. So you can do 2 pieces of pepper at a time if you'd like I'm doing. And here, I'll show you. We want them pretty small. You know what veggie cream cheese looks like. The pieces of veggies are very, very tiny. So here, let me show you what these look like here. Now see, pretty small. Okay, let's see how we're coming along here. My 1/4 cup is about half full. And we'll keep going. Let's move this to the side, make sure you guys can see. And so you press down with the chopper, and it does help a little bit to saw with the chopper, just one time. Okay. You can use your chopper like a little bit of a shovel to carefully push your veggies on there, and then you can scrape them off into the measuring cup. Oh, we're getting pretty full here. So I'm not gonna pack it down, but I am gonna kind of make sure that there's not too much space in between the peppers. I think maybe just 2 more pieces is gonna be plenty. And then we can taste our pepper too before we move on to our next ingredient. Okay. Always watch what you're doing when you're chopping. Keep your fingers safe. Oh, let's see, is my cup gonna be completely full? We don't want it heaping now, right? So we don't want it sticking over the top. I would say that's actually pretty perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump this pepper into our cream cheese, tap it so it all comes out. And now, before we move on to our carrot, I am gonna try a piece of pepper. Just as delicious as it was on Saturday when I tried it when we were making breakfast skillet. Very fresh. I really like to eat raw vegetables. You can eat them plain. You could dip them in veggie cream cheese if you want. Hummus, really good. Perfect. I'm hungry. Once again, I didn't eat before doing this. That's okay, I'm gonna have an entire bagel with cream cheese. Okay, so now let's move on to our next ingredient, which is the carrot. And we are gonna grate this. As I mentioned, you can totally use the chopper, but I thought it'd be fun to use a different tool, so we're gonna use the grater. So we have our carrots in big enough pieces that we can keep our fingers away from the edge of the grater, all right? So take the grater here, make sure that your blades are facing up, because if you have the grater turned the wrong way, if it's this kind of grater, it won't work. And go ahead and make sure to press it down into your cutting board, kind of at a diagonal, because if you try to do it like this, it's going to be hard for you to really press into the grater with your other hand. So just think of it like a slide. And you're going to take your carrot and press into the grater and down. So carrot's pretty hard to grate. It's much harder to grate than cheese. So be patient with it. Always watch what you're doing. And keep your fingertips away from the grater. And actually, your fingertips are harder to grate than your knuckles. So really, your knuckles, definitely you want to keep those away from the grater. I've cut myself with a grater. It is not fun. So see, we've got our little carrot grates coming out under there. This is a grater with pretty small holes. If you have a grater with larger holes, then your carrot pieces are going to be bigger. So always keep moving your fingers up. And if your carrot gets too small to grate, then you can just eat what's left. We're not quite there yet, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to grate this whole piece. It's okay, I have 2 more pieces. Let's see how much carrot we have. I'm going to put this in our measuring cup here. Okay, it's about half full. So we'll need, I'm going to go a little bit further with this, but not too much, because I really want to make sure that my fingers stay safe. Okay. I think that's about as far as I can go, so I'm just going to eat this. That was a pretty big piece. probably should have taken a smaller bite. I'm gonna keep grating while I chew. Very good. Very earthy. Crunchy. Do you guys know where carrots grow? Do they grow like on trees? No, they don't grow on trees. They grow on bushes? Nope, they grow underground. It's kind of cool. And then from the top of the carrot, this part right here, greens grow up. That's great, because then you know where the carrot is. All right, we've almost got our second piece of carrot grated. I'm gonna add all this grated carrot to our measuring cup and see how we're doing. Oh my gosh, I think we're good. Look at that, perfect. We're gonna go ahead and dump that in. The cutting board's a little messy, but that's okay. I've got an apron on, so I'm just gonna wipe my hands on my apron. Okay, I wonder if I can, let's flip that over. Look at that, much prettier. Okay, before we, let's go ahead and do our garlic next. Okay, are you guys with me, by the way? Are we good? Should we move on to garlic? We're not sure, maybe a thumbs up or my favorite, you know, I love the hearts. A little heart if you guys are ready to move on. I don't want to leave anyone behind here. No, Anastasia's telling me not yet, not yet. I'll just wait a moment. No, we're good? Okay, we're good. So, we've got our little garlic slices, and we
got a thumbs up.
Oh, yay! Oh! I just threw a little piece of garlic over there. Don't worry. We'll just, I'll just take another little piece of garlic here. Oh, that piece is a little soft. We're not going to use that one. We'll just get another clove off our garlic head here, because I don't want to skimp on the garlic. All right? I love garlic. So, so we'll just go ahead and take one more little slice off this clove. Okay. Okay. All right, now we're good. I need a garbage bowl here. Anastasia, will you give me a garbage bowl? Thank you. Really handy to have a garbage bowl, just a place where you can keep all of your little tidbits. Like I've made a bit of a mess here. Okay, so now we have our garlic slices, chopper. Thank you, thank you. Oh. Okay. Let's just try to clean it up a little bit around here. Perfect. Okay. These. All right. Garlic, chopper. First, we're going to take the slices, cut them up into a little bit smaller pieces, you know, kind of coarsely chop them. Then we'll mince them. So first, make sure your fingers are tucked in, of course, and kind of hold the garlic together and get it into, you know, we're kind of like finely chopping it kind of at this point. And then scrape it all into the middle of your board. You're going to do little bunny hop chops with your chopper. So just go over. So this is very gentle. Okay, this is gentle. We're not coming all the way up here. So these aren't elephant chops. These are little bunny hop chops. All right, over and over. Because if you hit the garlic too hard, it'll just fly everywhere. So keep scraping it to the middle, over and over and over. Be patient. As you keep going over it, it will get smaller and smaller. Because you do not want a big hunk of garlic in your cream cheese. It'd be too strong. If you guys did the pizza class with Anastasia, I think Miss Anastasia tasted raw garlic. And I think she kind of liked it, but she made quite the funny face. It's almost a little bit, eat too big of a piece, it's almost a little bit spicy. But if you guys want, we can try it together. I'm always game. Okay. I think our garlic looks pretty perfect. I'm gonna just do one more time here, scraping it all together. Awesome. Okay. Oh, there's just that one piece. Let's get that one bigger piece taken care of. Okay. So now we'll just take our, big mess under my cutting board. Take our garlic, scrape it into our bowl with our cream cheese. Most of it's stuck to my chopper, but that's okay. Just use my finger to wipe down the blade. Okay, remember, never up the blade, always down. Okay, perfect, look. Okay, so now we've got our pepper, we have our carrot, and we have our garlic in our cream cheese. So the last thing we need to do is snip our scallions. So as I mentioned, because this was such a huge scallion, I mean, look at how big these greens are, they're huge. I didn't want to leave them whole. If you have a scallion with smaller greens, you can leave the dark green parts whole and just snip those. I cut mine in half or even quarters because we didn't want a really long piece of scallion in there. And then the white and light green part, you can cut lengthwise in half or in quarters. So you can bunch a few of the pieces together, like this, if you'd like. Of course, you can do them all one at a time. It's totally up to you. Take your scissors, just like you were cutting paper, and just cut them into strips. So every few snips, you might have to readjust your fingers so that your fingers don't get too close to the scissor blades. Okay, so we've got, our garden veggie cream cheese is going to be pretty colorful, which I'm very excited about. That's why I went with the red pepper, because we've got red in there from the pepper, and we've got orange from the carrot, and then from these beautiful scallions, we've got a nice dark green, and light green also, actually. So, do you guys like to eat really colorful food? We call it eating a rainbow. And by the way, when we say really colorful, we mean like kind of naturally colorful, like the way things grow in nature, not artificially colored with dyes and stuff. But eating a rainbow is actually a really great way to make sure you're giving your body all the vitamins and other nutrients that you need, all the vitamins and minerals really, because the colors mean that that vegetable or fruit has different vitamins in it, right? So the red indicates a certain type of vitamin and mineral, and the orange indicates another. So instead of, worrying about this vitamin or that vitamin, you can just try to eat a lot of colors. And it's pretty. So highly recommend it. So we've got our little pile of scallions here, and I'm going to do one more. Oh, what? Just kind of bunch them up here. And just keep going. I'm going to show you something really neat with the scallions in a minute too. If you cut the roots off of your scallions, you can put the root in water and then put it in a sunny spot in your house, like on a windowsill or something, and then a scallion will sprout up from above the root. So you can kind of just grow a whole new scallion. It's pretty cool, right? So I've got it set up. I'll show you after I finish this. Ooh, this is getting pretty slippery here. Okay. Like I said, if you don't want to use scissors with this, you can absolutely just use a chef knife. It's much faster. But for younger kids, obviously it's probably not the best option. Okay, and the choppers do not work well on the scallions. We've tried. They pretty much just kind of rip it. All right. Perfect, look at that. So here we go, we are ready to put our scallions in there. Now, while you guys finish your chopping or snipping your scallions, I want to show you what I did. So this is the root. Look at how the scallion is just so big, and so the roots of it are also very big. They're very thick. So if you cut off this bottom part here, which you don't use anyway, we don't eat the roots, then put the roots, sit them in water, then the green will sprout up from there. So I did, whoop, that's what I did, okay? And so from here is where the greens will start to grow. And I've got a little bit of water in this cup, but of course if I just drop the scallion in, it kind of tilts over. So I just broke a skewer in half, but you could use toothpicks. And I'm just gonna kind of use that to prop it up. So it just kind of stands upright in the water. Of course, I'm having a hard time now. Oh. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is put this in, oh, I'll fix it after. I'm gonna put this in a windowsill, and then maybe in a few days, like by, I don't know, maybe by Saturday, which is the next video that I'm doing, maybe we'll check it out and see if it has grown at all. I don't remember how long it took us. We've done this before. I just don't remember how many days it took for it to sprout. But anyway, so very excited. I'm excited. All right. So we have all of our veggies now in our cream cheese. And you know what I think it's time to do is put our bagel in the oven. Did you already do it? No. Okay, Anastasia, she said yes, like it's time, but no, she hasn't done it. Okay, so we are gonna take, so this is a whole wheat bagel. I don't really know how whole wheat it is, to be honest, because the first ingredient on the package was wheat flour, not whole wheat flour. So, a little tricky, but it's the best I could do at the store that I was at. So it's partially whole wheat. These are pre-sliced. So you can, there's two different ways to heat up bagels. And some people feel very, very strongly about which way is the best. You can just heat it up whole, and then you've got, you know, the outside of the bagel kind of gets crispy and the inside is soft and chewy. That's one way you can do it. Or if you want to toast the inside too, then you're gonna want to open it up. So if your bagel's pre-sliced, you can just kind of very gently, because usually it's still together on one side, just very gently open it up, okay? And then you can put it cut side up on a baking sheet. So I'm here with Miss Anastasia, as I mentioned, and she believes that this is the proper way, the most delicious way to heat bagel. I kind of like the inside to be soft. So I'm gonna heat up my bagel whole. Okay, so we're gonna do that. I'm gonna put it in the oven for about, what did you say, 5 minutes probably? Something like that. And of course, if you're using a toaster, you can just drop your bagel halves in and toast them. Okay. So now we need to season our cream cheese. So we only have 2 ingredients left. We've salt and black pepper. So we've got a dash measure here, which is 1/8 teaspoon. So we'll start with that. Ooh, can you give me a tasting spoon too, please? Thank you. So I'm gonna level it off, okay? So just use my finger, make it nice and flat. Here, I'm gonna dump that in. And then for pepper, the recipe calls for 2 pinches of black pepper. So I'm gonna get out my pinching fingers here and just reach in and do 2 pinches. All right. So now we're gonna stir it, then we can taste it and see if we think we wanna adjust the seasoning at all. So you gotta use a little bit of muscle here to get because even though my cream cheese was somewhat softened, it's still, it's not completely soft. So I'm just gonna use this wooden spoon and stir it around. Ooh. By the way, one thing you can do, we thought about doing it today, but decided not to, is you can either use whipped cream cheese or you can whip your own cream cheese, which we did for the first time, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago? I'm trying to remember when we did that. But basically, all you need to do is add a little milk or cream to the cream cheese and then whip it with, we were debating whether you could do it by hand. We're pretty sure you could as long as your cream cheese was softened enough. But you're basically then just whipping the milk and some air into the cream cheese to make it nice and fluffy. So if you did it by hand, you would have to put quite a bit of muscle into it. All right, so see, now it's really coming together. And that's what it looks like. Can you see that, Anastasia? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah. So just give it a really good stir. Make sure all those veggies are nice and mixed in. Okay. You can use your spoon to kind of smash it up. And now we're gonna taste it. So I've got a little tasting spoon. Don't double dip now, okay? So just one taste. It's pretty delicious. I'm gonna add another pinch of pepper and a pinch of salt. I tend to err on the saltier side. Some people like less salt, some people like more. And I like pepper too. So I'm gonna do one more pinch of pepper. And you can always leave the extra salt out, and if for people who like more, you can just salt your bagel. All right, one more pinch of salt there. I'm gonna mix it up again. And I'm gonna give it another taste, but this time I'm gonna flip my spoon around and taste it with the other side, because that way I'm not dipping my, ooh, the bagels are ready. I'm not dipping my spoon in that I licked again. Perfect. Okay, so now we wanna go for presentation and stuff. You can transfer your cream cheese into like a serving dish. Okay. So I just have a little ramekin here, and I have a spatula because I don't want to leave any cream cheese behind. Just kind of scrape all this in here. Oh, this looks so good. By the way, you can use other veggies than what we've used. We've made this recipe at farmers markets before, where we go and just get whatever. We shop at the market and then do a little hands-on cooking project with kids and families there. And sometimes they don't have, peppers. Peppers don't come around until later in the summer. So we've done this with carrots and even beets. And I'm trying to remember what else we've used. Radishes. So you can really kind of have fun with it and try different things. So this is our cream cheese. You can take a spreader and, so Anastasia's got her bagel toasty on both sides, and my bagel is toasty on the outside and nice and smushy on the inside. And then you just go ahead and spread that cream cheese on there. And then give it a taste. Wow. Very good. I hope you guys like it too. Let us know, send us pictures. We'd love to see your photos. And next class that we're doing is on Wednesday. Miss Anastasia is doing, what's Miss Anastasia doing?
Apple galette.
Oh, right, apple galette, like a rustic apple pie. It's gonna be so good.
And Annette also used carrot and radish in hers.
Amazing! See, you guys are already all over it doing your veggie substitutions. You gotta work with what you have. It's really fun, and you might discover something new, right? If you're enjoying these classes, by the way, we would absolutely love it if you could support us with a donation through PayPal. We are kind of doing all these classes for free and asking people who are able and happy to contribute a little bit to help us navigate these quarantine waters, if you will. But thanks so much for cooking with us. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you on Wednesday at 11. Bye.